let's move over to Q&A. You got a little time for Q&A, Krass?
Always.
Awesome. So folks, if you have some questions for Krass or I, feel free to type in !Q and then whatever your question is, and we're going to be showing them up right on screen. The what?
So I'm excited for these.
Yeah. You'll see right here on the bottom of the overlay, a little pop-up come up, and we're going to read them. There's a lot of questions waiting, Sponge says. Beautiful. We got time. So let's start with the first one then. So first question, Krass, how's this gonna work? I'm just gonna read it, and then feel free, you answer first, and if I think it's something that applies to me, I'll have some input, but most of these will probably be for you. So this is from the DK Bay. How many games would a game chuck if a games chuck could chuck games?
Some.
Okay. That was a good question.
Some games.
Just some. Okay, beautiful. Let's move on to the next one. What the heck? Of course, that would come from DK. DK, if you're still there, appreciate you. This one's from Sponge. What's your favorite Unity plugin that you've seen to date, or another game engine?
My favorite Unity plugin, time and time again, has always been and will always be Rewired. It rewrites the entire Unity input system and lets you have full controller support with up to 100 different controllers. And just lets every game just work perfectly when it comes to multiple button presses. And it just, Unity's input system sucks. And their new input system, better, but also sucks.
Yeah.
So, and it's not even live yet. Like, it's not even like an actual, like, it's still in beta, which is fine, right?
Sure.
Rewired takes everything and just kind of throws it on and throws it into a new perspective and lets it actually be a good system.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's
so
actually...
I recommend it. It's the best $40 purchase I've ever made. I think it's probably on sale right now because of there's things like Unity sale going on, so it might be on sale.
Cool.
But I mean, Rewired is, I mean, even $40 to make all your games have full controller support is beyond worth it.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah, that sounds like it makes a lot of sense to spend like just a little money on. That will probably last you forever, really.
Yeah. Right? I use it in all my jam games too. All my jam games have full controller support because it's just so easy to implement.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. Cool. Let's go on to the next one then.
Sure.
This is from Everyday Spooky. How many stars do you think there are?
There's 120 stars.
Huh. I would have said 256.
Interesting. You didn't play Mario 64 then, did you?
Oh, got him. Yeah. No, that's another great question. I hope that answers your question, Spooky. Cool. Next, this is from Amar Fasir. Yeah. Do game studios buy any game assets from the market, or do you make them all?
No, we also buy game. I mean, it comes down to this. Does it solve X, and does it reduce development time by X amount? If it answers both of those questions and it's not copying someone's content, we'll buy it. I use a save system. I don't make a save system. I use a save system.
I see. You know? Yeah.
I don't make a input controller system. I use one. I don't make a data table system. I use one.
Yeah, that's
I don't make a game engine. I use one. It's the same system, right? The game assets are just smaller versions that attribute to your game engine. So, I mean, and can you buy a tree asset because you don't want to make trees? Yeah. You can make them a big enough size people don't know. You change the color of them. You give them more leaves.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Make them be procedural. Now they're different. Right?
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. That kind of goes back to app dev in general too, right? It's like when is the right time to bring in a library? And sometimes like when's the right time to pay for a service compared to building it from scratch on your own?
Let's take a look at, just as a thought, the game The First Tree by David Welley.
Sure.
The First Tree, I mean, he's proven himself that he is, first off, not a programmer. Right? He uses a blueprint style system to make everything work on Playmaker. Also, he bought all of his art assets. And then he just reconfigured them because he's a VFX artist.
Sure. So
honestly, that game is bought and super successful. Because it's not an asset flip because he knows what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he's being a smart developer. There's a difference between being a smart developer and one that works hard. If you work hard, you can still be successful. But if you're a smart person and a smart developer, you'll just be successful faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And success can just mean releasing a game, because that could be the end all be all. Is now you have a game on Steam,
Right.
right? So
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, and Sponge in chat, one of the biggest hurdles I fought learning was I shouldn't use libraries. I should code all from scratch.
not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, maybe worth it depending on the way you want to learn.
Yep.
But being because I'm in a business for profit, not worth it.
Yep. It depends on, I think, how fast you want to move, and again, what you're trying to do, right? It's like, at the end of the day, if I want to build something from scratch, it's because I want to learn the inner workings of that and try to make it better, right? In a sense. So cool, man.
Right.
Yeah, great answer. Great answer.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, yeah. The next one is from Yag, our member Yag. To Cross. BBQ tomorrow at your place. Yes? Kappa.
You didn't get the invite? Dang. All right, I'll send the invite again.
I didn't get an invite either. What the heck? Rude.
Well, my invite system must be broken then. So
Yeah, sure it is. No, it doesn't matter that I'm across the country. It's just your invite system.
You being there anyway tomorrow because it's
beautiful.
Sunday.
I will be there. Hopefully the skies won't be burning fire by
burger
that time.
someday, but you can have a veggie burger.
There we go. I like those Impossible burgers, so make sure you got some of those.
Ooh, I heard they're pretty awesome.
Yo.
They're like $86 a piece, but I heard they're pretty
awesome. So dramatic. $86. That's the best $86 I've ever spent. All right. Next one. This is from Maui. Maui, excuse me. How much can you restrict yourself from your own convenience? Like, I don't port my game to Android, even though it would be great for a phone, because I don't want to learn that.
How much can you restrict yourself for your own convenience?
Yeah.
You can. There's nothing against you. I mean, you do you, right? If you don't want to put your game on Android, you don't put your game on Android. You know, if you don't want to learn Switch's save system, don't put your game on Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean? Like, it's really what it comes down to. It's just, if you don't want to do it, you don't do it. Right? I mean, so how much can you restrict yourself? 100%. You can say, I don't want to make games. And you just stop making games. Yeah. There are tons of great developers that stop making the games and they just disappear, you know? Or pay someone to do it for you, which is totally a true statement.
Yeah, definitely. I think again, it depends on what you want to focus on. Again, pulling from like app development standpoints, I used to only want to make games for iOS because I felt that ecosystem was where my apps would do better. And so before I got into cross-platform development things, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make this for iOS. Like, I'm not gonna make it for Android. There's no point of wasting my time and going through that process. So yeah, good stuff.
I know what Founder Hounder said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stardew Valley, when they released the game and they were like, yeah, we're gonna do multiplayer. Chucklefish went, Eric, do you want to code it? And he went, no. He went, we're gonna pay someone else to do it. And so he gave the money to where it needs to go, right? Grumpy Game Dev, what's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up, Grumpy?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, beautiful answer, man. Cool. Let's go on to Top Swag Code. A question from this person. Have you played Game Dev Tycoon? And if so, how realistic is it?
Dude, I love Game Dev Tycoon. I wish it could be as easy as name game, race my meat, and then make it a racing game. And then
wait a second. Can we go back to what you just said? What was that?
You want, right? So of course, all you do is create ridiculous phallic innuendos.
Jesus Christ.
Is this a PG stream? This is PG, right?
let's keep it. I love it. Beautiful. Keep going. Do your thing, man.
But like, I wish I could just be like, yeah, I want to have an 8 in creativity, and can I put 4 points into? Like, it'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So you would say it's then pretty realistic to like, or semi-realistic to game dev in general if you weren't going through that platform.
Right.
Yeah.
It's realistic in the way that you end up finishing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you.
I probably started 30 projects and I finished 4. So, because as a game dev, you make different things and you go, nope, not fun. Nope, not fun. Nope, not fun. Nope, didn't work. Nope, can't get the art working right. Nope, didn't work. Nope.
Sure.
Not fun. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, good stuff. That's a cool question. I never heard about Game Dev Tycoon, so definitely something to check out.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. So next one's from Sponge. Why do you think the Untitled Goose Game was so popular? That's a great question.
Probably 3 reasons.
Go for it.
The name first. People go, why didn't they think of a name for the game? I got to see what it is. Right? Maybe I can name the game myself. And that's a subconscious thought, right?
Yeah.
2, how often do you get to play as a goose that steals people's stuff? 3, right? And then 3, people enjoy impersonating somebody who can inflict something upon somebody else and it not being any with no repercussions. Right? There's actually a study that's happened. Right? There's a study that happened where if you wore a mask and you were told to shock somebody, even though there's nobody on the other side of that shock, you would still do it because you have a mask. You're now anonymous. Yeah. So now you becoming a goose is now the anonymity of it. It's not even a word. I screwed that word up. But you know what word
I get you. Yeah.
And
I think people are bringing up some great stuff in chat for sure.
All 3 of those things together is what made that game popular. That people can just be a goose and just screw stuff up.
That's hilarious. I wasn't expecting an answer so thought out like that. Because I guess I personally didn't like. My only thing was, wait a second. Was this a mess up from the company? Did they mess something up before like actually launching their game?
Completely intentional. They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Where is that video?
Yeah.
That's fine. We can keep talking. I can do things. Yeah. 2 things.
No worries, man. That's a great answer. And great question, Sponge. Thanks for asking. Yeah. And Dorman Jaguar, I like your thought. Goose being a-holes is very relatable.
It is, and that's another thing too. Is man, why do they suck so much? I want to be that. That's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Totally.
I want to be that guy.
Awesome. Let's go to the next one. And this one is from Aaron. Krass, what do you think the emergence of services NVIDIA GeForce means for the industry? This is a great question.
Services NVIDIA GeForce.
Yeah. So like, have you heard of GeForce? I think it's GeForce, not Experience, GeForce Now. Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it. I haven't played around it. I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah. So GeForce Now is basically like cloud gaming, essentially.
So like Stadia.
Like Stadia. Yep. Like Stadia and like xCloud. Yeah.
I actually have one.
Oh, nice.
I mean, what does it mean for the industry? All it does is diversify more, or like separates more gamers. That's all it really does, man. But I mean, does it let people play games without having to buy that $3,000 computer? Yeah, it does. Let people play PUBG without having to buy the $2,000 computer that's still going to only run 40 frames on it. Yeah. You can run it on your TV and play it on your phone. Play PUBG on your phone with a controller. Sure, why not?
Yeah. No, that was kind of my.
It's more people playing games. I've never had a problem with Stadia so far.
Cool.
But you have to have a direct connection for it.
I've heard very mixed reviews about Stadia. Some people I know just are like, this is the best thing I've ever heard, and some people are like, this is absolute trash.
Yeah, so I only have it because it was given to me for free by my ISP.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Reason why I have it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, it's a really cool thing that exists.
Yeah.
Right? It's now everything runs out of your app on your phone, and you can just play it anywhere that you have a Chromecast attached to. I mean, it's kind of like a cool idea, right?
Totally.
The barrier to entry gets lowered significantly.
Yeah. No, great answer, man. I think that makes a lot of sense for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Let's go to the next one. This one is from Dr. Dynamite. Do you think new devs should release their games for free, cheap or upper tier paid games? I know we kind of touched on this in the questions. What's your thought on that?
I think you should really buckle down and think what do you value your game at? What do you value yourself at? It's really all it comes down to is, do you value yourself at $5? Do you value yourself at $15? There's a really good talk by Mike Rose from No More Robots, who's a publisher team, about their game, the game that they released called Descendants. They were going to release the game for $11. It's the downhill mountain biking game that came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they were going to release it for like 11 or 12 bucks. And No More Robots was like, no, you need to release it for more money. And they're like, why? We don't want to. We don't want people to not buy it. And it's proven that anything under $15 does not get treated as a real game. It gets treated as I might play this for a couple hours.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
There's outliers like Minecraft and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
But like, if you were a kid and you bought Halo 1 for the first time, how many hours did you put Halo 1? How many hours did you pump into Halo 1?
Yeah.
Thousands, right? I played a lot of Halo 1. And then brought my friends over to play a lot of Halo 1.
Yeah.
And if the game was only $10, probably wouldn't have. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why Burberry is Burberry, but their stuff's made overseas. Burberry's an $800 watch or a $700 wallet.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the stigma attached to it now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a Burberry watch. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Not I've got a Relic watch from Kohl's.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, oh, nice, $40.
It's wild to see how companies are able to put such a. I've never been able to think of the word, but it's like this idea of
the stigma.
Like a stigma, or like this perception of the culture around their products have so much value. And like Roars brought up two really good points that I really like that she said. The perceive your worth if you charge more. If you believe in that idea, people will pay it. And again, Apple, like that, I think Apple, in my opinion, is probably one of the best examples of this. Apple products are made with this culture of exclusivity, as well as they just look premium, right? And it's why is that? Why did that happen? I don't think anyone truly knows.
No, I mean, I think it just kind of it's like snowballed, really, right? And then Samsung came into the market, and people went, "Am I a Samsung person or an Apple person?" Yeah, and it just kind of became a thing, right? And like now, I only have Android phones. I don't have a reason for an iPhone because I believe, from my perspective, iPhones are for people that really don't want to worry about their phone not working and then have to open it up. Yeah, they can't. Yep. You can't open your iPhone to look at it. Totally. Right? Yeah. If your battery dies in your iPhone, you got to go bring it to somebody. You can't pop the battery out, buy a new battery online, and get it put in. Yeah. Like, you can't. Yeah. Dr. Dynamite brings up a good point. Apple's just as much as a fashion brand as they are a tech brand. Yeah. So I think there's totally a lot of companies now that are flirting with this idea of being a fashion brand, because we're getting more into wearables. We're getting more into RGB. Yeah. Like, I want my computer to look like this shining piece of art that you can like put in your mantle above your fireplace or some crap like that. Mine lights. I like lights. Mine's like it's crazy. I got the unicorn barf all up in my computer. Yeah, basically. My CPU cooler spins and it's got it turns RGB. And then baby. Yeah, there you go. 70 that's RGB. And yeah, there you go. It doesn't make anything better. Yeah, totally. RGB doesn't make it spin faster. Not that you know of. All right, let's go on to the next one then. This is from Dormant Jaguar. Do you have a publisher and is it worth it? What do they bring to the table? Publishers can bring a lot to the table, or they can bring nothing to the table. Currently, all games that are currently out by Static City Games do not have a publisher on them. They are published by Static City Games, which allows us to now be a publisher for other companies as well, because we have that asset. Yeah. Right. So we can be also considered a publisher as well. We are in talks with publishers for one of our games, Hellbarian, that's been streamed a lot recently. Yeah. I can't say anything more than that because there's a chance they're watching this. NDA, please. Watch it at some point. So yeah. But we're in talks right now with them for a vertical slice to try to see what happens. It might be something really awesome if it does. Awesome. So yeah. Great question. Cool. And what do they bring to the table? They could either bring money. They could ask for a budget. They could ask for a time frame. Yeah. They will mostly always bring promotionals. Like, they might ask you to make the main image, and then they'll do the background of stuff. They may send you to PAX. They may send you to SXSW. They may send you here. They may send you there. They may send you for signing somewhere. You may do this. You may do that. Right? Yeah. A lot of that. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? Publishers will dictate a lot of things, or they will give you a lot of freedom. So you have to really, really be careful when it comes to publisher world. Awesome. Yeah, great thoughts there, man.
Cool. Let's go to the next one. It looks like we have about 3 more after this. This is from Ed. Going back to what platform to use, any thoughts on releasing specifically for the web? Would it be a feasible option if so?
Releasing specifically for the web? Commercially? No. Physically, yes. Or sorry, what? That was a commercial. Personally?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Personally for web? Sure. I'm never going to do it for web. I hate the HTML5 layer. I think it's terrible. At least for Unity, HTML5 layer is just a piece of junk. Things never work. It's a mess, right? Yeah. So some people have had really good experiences with HTML5. You know?
Can we get some Flash Player love in the chat?
So commercially, if you're going to release a game that's free or release a game like RuneScape, yeah, man. Release it for web. If you're planning on doing a web-based game that needs to be web, sure.
Yeah.
Right? It's really case by case.
Sure.
Really is case by case.
Cool. Yeah,
I
think
people will not release games for web.
Yeah. I think that's a great question, Ed, that you bring up. And then, like, the feasibility, I think, comes into the fact of, like, does it make sense for the developer, the publisher? And it sounds like for Static City Games, it doesn't make any sense to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Totally. Cool, man. Great. Next one is from Founder Hounder. What is something neat in one of your games that is important but nobody really notices? Ooh. Ooh.
So there's a prompt that shows up in Life and Debt that there's a lost puppy, and you have to choose whether to return it for $100 or steal the puppy. If you steal the puppy, a puppy runs around in your game.
Oh my gosh! Love it.
But most people will not steal the puppy.
Yeah.
Because they want the $100, and it feels good to return the puppy. But if you take the puppy, you get a puppy that runs around in your game.
Yo, that is so. Let me ask you this: would you consider that an Easter egg in your game?
Totally.
Awesome.
Mainly because it's not the expected choice.
Sure. And
right?
So when you're developing your games, how many times do you feel like you are? Do you have a lot of Easter eggs in your games in general?
I want to.
You want to? Okay.
It's harder for games like Chronicle.
Yeah.
Right. Because Chronicle is a top-down shooter where the game's procedural and things happen differently every time. You always steal the puppy. Because you can get multiple puppies.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, because that prompt can happen more than once, because you can find a lost dog more than one time since since when you move out of your parents' house. Why not?
Yeah.
So, puppy percent run rate, completely RNG based. Yeah, I mean, Chronicle, I want to have Easter eggs in. I'm not sure what I want to do for them yet.
Sure.
Or I do have some, and I'm just not talking about them. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
There's one that exists where if you use a item that you have to unlock that you don't have by default for a power up for a certain type for your weapon against one of the bosses, and he has a shield, he laughs at you.
Nice.
And the shield, and it does no damage.
Oh, cool. Dude, I love that.
Stupid little things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, why not put that in there? Of course, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go to the next one from Watery Tart. Uh-oh. Does having annoying mods abuse channel point redeems affect your ability to determine what your functions do? Kappa.
So, I have a redeem in my channel.
Yes.
For like something like 20,000 points. And it's name a function. Okay. And what it does is it rewrites the next function I have to write is that name. Right? So then I put a summary of what that function does so that when I need to call that function.
That is terrible.
So like someone renamed the fire function in Chronicle to pew pew. So now when you shoot, pew pew gets called, right? One yesterday.
I'm dying. Holy crap.
Called Gronk the Destroyer of Worlds. And now it's on all capital letters with underscores, and I'm calling that. I look like, oh crap, what's that thing called? And I'm like, oh god, I have to call this. And I'm like, all right, so when the player hits the roll button, it's Gronk Destroyer of Worlds. I'm calling that. And that's it. So yes, does it mess me up a little bit? Yeah, but it's really fun.
Dude, okay, that kills me. That's like so much better than mine. So I do a redemption for adding comments to my code.
I also have that too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's a great one.
That's cheaper.
It is cheaper. And then we have one where we had people gather so many points where we actually started doing comments from movies. So I have a whole file called movies.js, and literally all it is comments from different movies all along the line.
Built into the game?
It's built into the app currently. But the thing is that the function's not doing anything. But it will eventually, because it's one of our Easter eggs of like, it's just going to randomly pull like probably comments from it and display it maybe somewhere. Yeah.
Have it look kind of like a famous person quote.
Yeah. Oh my, yo.
Script and everything.
Oh man, that could be great for like user profiles. It's just like randomly you get like a quote from one of our stream comments. That would be absolutely incredible. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of redemptions. I think the point system on Twitch has become really, really cool. I've really enjoyed adding some stuff like Yag's bringing up. We have time out someone else. We also have, we don't have a squat redemption. I don't think we ever will, but we have a raise and lower my desk, which I end up doing squats in anyways, because people redeem it back to back. And yeah, and then Sponge is saying lol commit. I need to set that up at some point.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sponge, I'll end up doing that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Awesome. So looks like we got a couple more. This one again from Dormant Jaguar. What version control are you using and how does it deal with art assets? I think him and I have talked about this a lot, so I'd be actually very curious to hear what you use.
I use Bitbucket and Source Tree.
Interesting. Can you explain why?
Because Trello, or because Atlassian, whatever the heck their name is.
Yeah.
They own Trello. They also own Bitbucket. They also own Source Tree. It works really well together.
But how do you feel that plays with your assets, right? So like when you're updating,
it just commits everything. I use a get ignore to get rid of all like the builds and like things that don't matter. Everything else pulls perfectly.
I see. So like when you're doing it, let's say you have to look back in your change log for these different assets or something. Do you see different versions of these assets, or is it a mess if you had to do something like that?
No, there are different versions of the assets, but I mean, art assets don't really get changed that often, and if they do get changed, they just get overwritten.
I see.
I mean, you can only redraw a character so many times before it becomes a different character.
Right.
So like, yeah. But I mean, most of the time, I'm worried more about did I screw up a lot? Did I screw up a section of code that I don't like anymore? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
that makes sense.
It is a Git. Bitbucket is Git.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Git program. So.
Awesome. Cool.
I also don't know enough about Git to be able to talk about it.
Okay.
I know that it works, and it's good.
Yeah. No, that's
I can go back and get it.
No, yeah, that's cool. I think it's a good question for a lot of people. Again, like I was saying, him and I have talked about that a lot. So good to get some insight on there.
Right. Okay. We have to remember that I am not a trained programmer. I am a self-taught Unity developer.
This guy is scrappy AF. That's all I got to say.
Right, man.
Scrappy.
Fix it never.
Beautiful. All right, let's move on to the last question we got here, then, my friend. This is another one from Sponge. Has there been a shift in mentality towards accessibility in gaming yet? There's been things like the MS controller that came out, but will things actively have to change from the ground up? That's a great freaking question.
Ability in gaming. Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to now with people being... People get offended too easily nowadays, right?
Okay.
But also, it's a good thing for gaming, right? So now there's games that now have arachnophobia settings.
Arachnophobia settings?
If you have, there's a lot of games where the main character or the main enemy becomes a spider, right? It just kind of happens. Wow, spiders are pretty easy to fight. They have a poison attack. Everything just kind of works out, right?
Sure.
There are things that exist now to turn off the spiders and they turn into another thing because of arachnophobia. I mean, that's like the top. That's the newest accessibility I've seen.
Well, so Yeah, let me frame this a little more. And Sponge, feel free to add like onto this as well in chat. But in regards to accessibility, I think what he might have been trying to get at is like, have you seen Microsoft's accessibility controller, right? The way that people who have maybe motor disabilities are able to use a regular controller that fits, whatever things like, maybe they don't have a finger or a hand or something like that. They're still able to play these games. And for developers like you, that's obviously very important to make sure you adapt to that type of play style with them.
Right, because we could just always have this.
Yep.
But there's also the ways like, did I freeze?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
We could always have things like this, and then there's a reason why there's a certain configuration called Sawtooth, because Sawtooth exists for people that have claw grip. So like there's always been a little bit of accessibility, but like I love having the ability to have games that exist. Like Stop Drop is a one-handed game. Yeah. You don't need two hands to play the game, ever. It's a turn-based game. You only use this. Just the left control stick, and that is everything.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really interesting to see how gaming is changing and how it's evolving. And I haven't looked into the MS accessibility controller. I have no idea. But I'm sure that Rewired already has it built in with the newest update.
Sure.
So I can actually just configure my games to work with it.
Yeah, I think Roars brings us a really good point. So this, obviously, controllers are one thing, but what about high contrast, color blindness, subtitles, deafness? Like these are, right. And this is something that in my day job, this is stuff
for forever, right? So subtitles and closed captions are things.
Yeah. So yeah, totally. I guess could add on to that question. I'm also curious, like, do you feel like that's something that you think of as you're developing, or is it more of a hey, I should probably support these features. Let me add it in after.
It really depends on how the game is working, right? Like, I mean, there's a filter I can add for free that exists in Unity. Not actually built into Unity, but it's on someone's GitHub. Mm-hmm. And it's a Protonopia, Duronopia, Tridonopia filter that you just set it up, change it in the options menu, and it works, right?
I see.
It's the same kind of thing with localization. Localization is effectively the first ever accessibility. Right? Like games were being translated for the longest time, right? Sure. So that's that's the main accessibility. And as soon as that came in, people were like, well, what about people with colorblindness? What about people who can't see? They shouldn't be playing video games. What about people who...
Well, I don't know about that one.
There are a lot of games. There's actually a jam that was created for people that cannot see games. And it was actually like this really interesting... it was this really interesting concept where you have ways to like, I don't even know what the right way to put it is. Like different sounds lead you different directions. Like this guy on YouTube, his name is like Miz. I don't know how to say his name. It's like M-I-Z-I-Z-I-Z-I-Z, right? Uh-huh. He made a game like that where it's a 3D world where you're able to walk around based on sounds.
Yeah.
And not walk into walls. And like it was an echo response meets panning on speakers, and it was pretty wild. It was awesome. Yeah. So I mean, there are ways for anybody to play anything. The hardest part is meeting all those things.
Sure.
Right. And thankfully, we're not in the world of business like building houses where you have to be ADA compliant for things and this and that, right? So you don't have to have any of that stuff, thank goodness. But like, it's still hard, man. Getting everybody to be able to play your game, like you have to remember that when you make games, you're not going to please everybody.
For sure.
And sure, you can always add things to please certain people, but if there's no one complaining about your game being not for colorblind people, either those people don't want to complain because they're tired of complaining, or not enough people playing your game.
Yeah, so I think you bring up a really good point, and like. I do think on the other spectrum of that, I think that the accessibility portion of things is highly important. But I do a really bad job at doing it while I'm developing things. It's really difficult to think about a lot of these things to do this from the beginning. But yeah, like Sponge is saying, like, yeah, it's your opinion, it's your honesty. Like people think in different ways, and that's okay. And I would say devil's advocate again, there's always a potential if you add more accessibility to your games, you're going to get more of an audience. And And there is a standard for accessibility for sure.
And all it really comes down to is you get the right person who's friends with somebody who's a top tier streamer and they're colorblind and the top tier streamer's not. And the colorblind guy goes, hey man, have you heard about Chronicle? It has colorblind stuff and I like it. He goes, dude, I might play it on stream.
Yeah.
Just because I think that you like it.
Yeah.
And that's 50,000 people who now play you, who have now seen your game.
Exactly.
Right? It literally just is one of those things, right?
Yep.
So
for sure. Beautiful, man. Well, Krass, that's it. We did it.
Oh, we did it.
We did it.
Whoa.
That was it.
I'm impressed with us. I really am.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, people have great questions. They're very curious about a lot of these things. So I think it's important for someone to come on like you who who have experience in this area, and like, you started from the bottom and now you're here.
Man. Like literally like beyond the bottom. Now I'm on Pixelogic Dev's stream, man. This doesn't get any better. I'm made it.
Wow, my heart feels so good. Yeah, no, for real, it's been great, man. And so before we head off and we go raid another channel, where can people find you? What's your stream schedule? What's the best place to get in contact with you?
I am on twitch.tv/Krassenstein, spelled like Frankenstein, but doesn't look like Frankenstein. And I stream at 4:30 in the morning, EST.
PST, baby.
Sorry, we're in a PST stream right now, so I had to make sure that you guys understood. 1:30 in the morning PST, every single day. Every single day.
Oh my God. I'm scared.
I just wake up that time. I don't know. So, I stream every single day. I also am on twitter.com/KrassensteinTV, twitter.com/StackCityGames, TikTok at Krassenstein.
Yeah.
Instagram is Stack City Games.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's actually, I didn't realize you streamed every single day. That's impressive, man.
A week on one game, one day a week on Sundays for another game, and then Saturdays is always game research because I find that very important.
Yeah, no, that's great. I did, I think 80 days of streaming straight, and then I had to take off for 2 weeks after that. I couldn't do it. It was so much. But yeah, Sponge, I'm sorry, I did forget about putting your Twitch in there. So thank you, Yag, for adding Krass's Twitch channel right there. But Krass is also in chat, so there you go. But anyways, yes.